And also, yes, and after the end times, we can go on with the science of creation by Allah, inshallah. And one of them is in the honeybee. Mr. Adnan Oktar has a book of about honeybee, the miraculous creation of the honeybee, inshallah. That I would like to show you a presentation of the honeybee, inshallah, now. And so we can start this PowerPoint presentation, inshallah. So in every beehive, there are 3 different types of bees, including 1 queen, a few hundred drone bees, and about 10 to 80,000 worker bees. The drone bees live 1 week, the worker bees 1 to 6 months, and the queen bee lives between 5 to 7 years. Now we see the bees over here. The bee begins to chew the scale shown in red circle, that one you see over here, with a special secretion in its saliva, and it attains a milder form and used to construct the hexagonal honeycombs. You see the hexagonal honeycombs over here. The queen bee is laying her eggs in the specially prepared honeycomb. The one over here. That is the queen bee, inshallah. The scales that come out from the abdomen of the bees is about 3 millimeters long and 1 millimeter thick. Bee wax is secreted in the liquid form. When it contacts with air, the scales stiffen. These are very thin plates that you see over here, 3 millimeters long and 0.1 millimeter thick. Worker bee uses the hook on its hind leg to take out the scales from its abdomen and carries them with its mandibles. While shaping the honeycombs, many worker bees work simultaneously and use their heads, feet and bodies to smooth away the bee wax. When the bee wax production stage is over, bee wax secretion glands in their abdomens steadily decline and take the form of a smooth layer of cells. The walls of the honeycomb always have the same thickness and constructed in 120 degrees angle to the other. You see over here? And since millions of years, the bees have been making these shapes exactly the same way, with the same angles and the same size. It takes about 4 minutes for a bee to dispose the bee wax scale, chew it and apply it on the comb. About 80,000 scales are required for building only 1 honeycomb. 80,000 scales are required for building only 1 honeycomb, mashallah. So it requires a lot of work. In the picture on the left, that one, and the right hand side, honeycomb cells built for the queen's larvae are seen. You see over here? These ones. Above you see a newborn queen bee cuts open the cap of honeycomb cell and comes out. MashaAllah. You see? This is a queen bee. Cuts open the cap of the honeycomb cell and comes out. The entire worker bees are female, just like the queen bee. But it is only the queen bee that is able to reproduce and lay eggs. That is the only queen bee that is able to reproduce and lay eggs. Queen bee comes out from the same type of eggs with worker bees. Queen bee indicated with paint is larger, as you see over here, it is larger than other bees in body size. The only difference is that starting from the larvae stage, queen bee is fed royal jelly while worker bees fed on the pollen. So the only difference is the nutrition. The nutrition makes a difference, inshallah. So queen bee is fed royal jelly while worker bees feed on pollen. So it's not a genetic difference. Because of this difference in nutrition, queen bee lives about 5 to 7 years while worker bees die in a few months. The queen bee secretes a pheromone on the time of its reproduction. Male bees fly right after the queen bee. Queen bee stores sperms in a special sac at the rear of her body. Drones die after mating. Mating occurs with a few drones to fill the sperm sac. Around 6 million sperms fill the sac. The sperm sac is covered with a special tissue in order to keep the sperms cool. Queen bee has only one mating season throughout her life. Following this mating season throughout her life, queen bee lays 1,500 to 2,000 eggs every day, while in some this is about 3,000 eggs. Queen bee that lays about 2,000 eggs each day precisely controls each one of the cells where it will lay the egg by looking inside of it. You see over here. And it determines the type of the egg it will lay. Larvae is 0.5 millimeters in diameter and 1.5 millimeters in length. The cells where larvae are placed have standard dimensions of 5.2 square millimeters. Female eggs are placed in 5.2 millimeter cells, and male eggs are placed in cells bigger than 1 millimeter. So they have to know which one is which. Bees fill their cups to bring water back to the hive in the warmest summer days. A hive needs 5 to 6 liters of water per day in midsummer, in the hot summer days. Now you see the wing of the bee. Wing muscles of a bee is strong enough to allow for flapping 400 to 500 times in 1 second. In 1 second they can flap, beat their wings for 400 to 500 times, mashallah. Even with its maximum payload, a bee is able to fly with a speed of 25 to 30 kilometers per hour. MashaAllah, you see the wing of the honeybee. Detail of wing magnified, this is details of the wing, magnified 65 times using a scanning electron microscope. You see great details, mashallah, and it can beat it 400 to 500 times a second. Rear leg, you see a rear leg of the bee magnified 70 times. The more detailed, the more glorious creation, mashallah. And you see an eye of honeybee, of a bee magnified 270 times using electron microscope. It consists of many honeycomb-like cells. It's a very complex eye system. It's called compound eye system. Eye of a bee magnified 70 times using electron microscope. MashaAllah. So you see a detailed creation, a glorious creation by Allah, inshallah. And all the science of the creation of Allah glorifies Allah's creation, mashallah. Allah's infinite wisdom, mashallah, shows us Allah's infinite wisdom.